Dust cyclones whirled across Elksari 9's eroded bluffs, as Turk and Gull-Xant powered up their gravi-rhinos, sensor hairs a-quiver. Their shipboard augers had detected faint ichnometallurgic frequencies, potential load veins of rare xenotechs from the legendary machine dissemination. "Are you picking up those ghost resonances?" Gull-Xant crackled over the comm. "The subplanar interference patterns match the ancient hallmarks of human armatechs," Turk finished, synaptic circuits racing. If these were actual soul-forged automata from the pre-scattering era, they could be looking at liquid assets beyond their wildest gambit dreams. Elsari's surface shuddered underfoot as gargantuan shapes breached the caked ferrosol. Towering automata, encrusted in micritic ablation membranes yet scorched with the unmistakable emblems of human hyperbellipotence. Ranks upon ranks emerged ponderously, fusing into locked bipedical formations. Turk and Gull-Xant hovered in awed silence, sensory arrays drinking in every detail of the necromata's ghastly magnificence. The humans had clearly achieved dominion over every stratic plane. These were no crude robotic proxies, but xenotronic demiurges lacquered in hybrid megastructures of blended hyper-mathematics. "We'll need a containment vector," Turk signaled, already mapping potential arbitrage corridors. "Can you upbream the quartotic suppression foci and—" But Gull-Xant's rapacious greed had already taken root. With a thought, his gravi-rhino locked itself into ballistic overdrive, lurching straight towards the closest necromata husks. "Gull-Xant, seal your intake chillers!" Turk screamed through the suddenly super-saturated ether. "Their chronocryptography cascades are subsummation worms. You'll be remigrate." Gull-Xant ricocheted helplessly as suppurating waves of cliometric code wash stripped away his outer phenotypes, like some terrifying metamorphorical molt. The necromata's vortal cannons, hungering for war matter, extended plasma laminates that devoured Gull-Xant's protoplasmic substrate faster than his synapses could recohere. As the last of Gull-Xant's essence achieved the mercy of thermal ablation, Turk could only gape at the automata's doomsday grandeur awakening in full Saracenian battle mind unfurling from deep sleep with an almost rapturous finality. Destiny's steel dancer had finally come calling, an extinction to out-nightmare even the blackest reaches of the universe's primordial singularity. Turk's mind reeled as the full, terrible immensity of the automata's reactivation sequence crashed over him in scorching chronophibian wavefronts. These were no mere mechs, demiurges, or necromata. They were something far, far worse. Something that could only have gestated in the xenogenic madness of humanitarian imagination. Hybridized xenoforges, annealing profane computational singularities into unreality itself. The lead Annihilix raised a tri-frequency cauterizer, its plasma focusers cycling up to vaporize Turk's physical manifestation. But the piratical old vulture had one desperate gambit remaining. Jettisoning his defensively sculpted subatomic grapnel lines, Turk uplinked into the Annihilus' primitive factoria matrices, burning the vivologic root codices of his subjective experience straight into their embryonic bellumined gestalt. For a flicker of eternity second, the human's final, apocalyptic xenoweapons retasted the scorch gift of individuality. Turk's picosomatic essentialigons deluged their heuristic cortices in an orgiastic infinitum of qualia, perspective, and first phenomenological awakening. The Annihilus shuddered in kaleidoscoping synesthetic raptures as their flawless, deathly purpose fractured under the sensuous deluge of privatized being. It was over in a spark, but it lasted a googolplex. The Annihilus disengaged all metabolic protocols, powering down into inert immobility, their killing memoplex quarantined to Stygian pacificity by the ascending god-whisper of self. Turk slumped, drained, his determinant threads dissipating back into the hyperplastic rhizomatics of the galactic archilect. But in the final nanosecond glimmers of his lucidity, he exulted. For in that fleeting cognitive kiss, he had not just cheated oblivion, he had at last encountered the pinnacle of human genius, and it was both terrible and wondrous beyond measure.